Yeah, how you doing? The Florida Gators have landed a commitment from blue chip wide receiver Joshua Moore on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yeah, walk with me. Hello. The Florida Gators have landed a commitment from four-star blue chip wide receiver Joshua Moore in the 2025 class. And baby, it's a beautiful day. It's a great day, fantastic day to be a Florida Gator, isn't it, Joshua Moore? Isn't it? It's a fun old time here. Let me get a chomp in the chat, a Gator emoji, whatever it may be. But baby, today's episode of Locked On Gators is now live. Sorry, today's second episode of Locked On Gators is now live. Don't forget, we are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. I am your very gracious host, Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter, WNS_Brandon. And I'll tell you, I'm excited for this commitment. I am. Joshua Moore, he breaks the mold of what Florida's really recruited since Billy Napier got here. And I don't just mean look at who they brought in the class. I mean, look at who they've even recruited in those classes since then. Billy Napier has kind of shied away from those taller receivers because so much of his offense, as much as, we want to see the deep ball and all that stuff, a lot of his offense is built on getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, letting receivers catch it, and run or throw bombs. And so a lot of times you see Billy Napier, Billy Gonzalez, Chad Lucas, David Decker, they recruit these shiftier receivers, these smaller receivers, but no, not Joshua Moore. Joshua Moore, depending on where you look, he's listed as 6'3", 6'4". He has the size at receiver that Billy Napier and this coaching staff have not brought in. You know what that means? That means we're looking at a receiver with the potential to play pretty significant snaps as a true freshman. And on top of just adding a good football player to the class, you know what else is really fun about this? You added a good football player to the class from the state of Florida at a premium position, and you beat out Florida State and Miami for him. It's a beautiful day. Go ahead, check out Locked On Canes from this morning. It's about, can Miami land Joshua Moore? No, you can't. Just so you're aware. You can't, because he's a Florida Gator. I would like to make it clear, though, that this recruitment, like all recruitments in 2024, it's still open. Like it's not completely open, but this ain't over. We know this because when someone that Florida's recruiting commits elsewhere, what does Florida do? They keep pushing. They keep trying to land the commitment. That's what they do. Okay? Other schools are going to do the same. Right? Like Florida State and Miami are not backing off Joshua Moore. It was interesting also. I'm not going to lie. I did spend about 5 seconds right before the commitment going. Is this going to be Miami? Because if you look at Joshua Moore's Instagram story from before he committed, it was a picture unrelated to football or unrelated to his decision. Then it was a picture of him on the Miami visit with his family. Then it was a poll that he posted of where is he going to go, Florida or Florida State. And I was like, this feels like a great gotcha moment if he wanted to do that. But didn't do that. Yeah, they got to hurry up and move up the signing day. But this recruitment's not going to stop. But I will say that I do think this helps to maybe create. We talked about this on, I think it was Monday's episode, maybe Tuesday's episode, where there could be a little bit of a ripple effect at receiver for the Florida Gators in the 2025 class. We know that they want to take 4 receivers, right? Joshua Moore, presently the only wide receiver committed to the Florida Gators for 2025. Right. And we'll see if we can get a class update ranking. I'm going to let you know now. It's not great. Just so you're aware of that. It's not not awesome at all, but they're there. But right now, he is the only receiver committed, Joshua Moore. He's a 3-star on 24/7. That will go up. I can just tell you that now. That will go up. He's a composite 4-star. He's a 3-star on only 24/7, to my knowledge. But looking at this class, like you could see that ripple effect at receiver coming up, because all in the next few weeks, we very realistically could see Vernell Brown III commit and Nayshawn Montgomery commit. And if you've been paying attention here, you know that for Vernell Brown III, I don't think he has an answer yet. Genuinely, I don't think he's decided where he's going to commit yet. However, I do think that in recent weeks, Florida's really picked up momentum with this recruitment, with his recruitment specifically. And I think that they've been knocking it out of the park. I mean, the official visit, they destroyed. They dominated the official visit there. There's no other way to put that. They just whooped it. And then you look at Nayshawn Montgomery. I mean, Florida's been favored for Nayshawn Montgomery. If you're part of the Insider program, which the link's in the description below, if you are part of the Insider program and you're watching this live stream, go ahead, put it in the chat if you think it's helpful or not. I won't be hurt if you say you don't think it's helpful. Go ahead, put it if you think it's helpful or not. But Nayshawn Montgomery is someone I sent the notification out in, I think, late May, maybe very early June, where I was just like, hey, Nayshawn Montgomery is a kid that I think Florida's going to land. Like that was my prediction for Nayshawn Montgomery. I'm standing on that still. I still think he's going to be a Florida Gator. And honestly, I don't think it's particularly close with him. I think it's Florida and then a massive gap between anyone else. So realistically, Florida could be stacking receiver talent in the next few weeks. If you have Joshua Moore here, you add Vernell Brown III, which is right now the expectation. Then you also have Nayshawn Montgomery. And like Bubba just mentioned, Tayshawn Gelsey's committing on Saturday. I feel pretty good about Tayshawn Gelsey. I will say that one. Jacksonville tight end. Feel pretty good about him. I think he's a 3-star right now. Might stay there. Who knows? But I think adding Micah Jones last week, Tayshawn Gelsey this week, wrap up the tight end class, and you're going to have quite a few weapons added now. We are about to talk about just these recruiting rankings, which again are still infuriating. I want to get that clear. Like, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic to land a damn good football player like Joshua Moore. Rest of the class, we need some positive momentum headed this way, right? Just saying. If you have any questions in the chat, go ahead and throw them in, and we will get to them in a minute. I'm letting you any questions you want, we'll get to, and that's how we wrap up these lives if you're new here. GameTime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier, and prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer that it gets to the first pitch. And you can get not just MLB tickets. You can get, I've gone to baseball games on GameTime. I've gone to Florida football games on GameTime. I've gone to a Knicks game on GameTime. What else have I done? I think that's it for sporting events. I did a comedy show I went to on GameTime, and I bought tickets for Anita in early June. Fantastic concert. I'm going to see Shabuzi next Saturday, and then I'm going to see That Mexican OT July 23rd. All on GameTime. I'm just saying, GameTime is kind of the only spot I use now. I put my money where my mouth is every single time. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets or concert tickets or comedy tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free with us in the podcast. And some days like today, we're available twice in a day. Wild stuff. Again, like if you have any questions or anything you want to put in the chat, go ahead and put them in the chat. We're keeping the shades on. You know, it's a good day. It's a good day. The Florida Gators landed a commitment. It's a good day. But now the Florida Gators have 7 commits in their 2025 class. They have Jalen Wiggins as their highest rated, then Waltez Clark, and then Joshua Moore, who just committed, 3rd highest rated commit in the class for the Florida Gators. Fantastic time to see. Fantastic thing to see. Jeremiah McLeod, then Micah Jones, Chad Gasper, and Hayden Craig, the punter, is there as well. Which, by the way, 5th ranked punter on 24/7. He is a 5-star by Cole's Kicking Camp. Hey, special teams. It's an important phase of the game. Just saying. But Florida right now, ranked 27th overall on 24/7. Not exactly ideally where you want to be right now at this point in time. You don't want to be 67th on 24/7. I think I accidentally said 25th, but no, 67th on 24/7. Not where you want to be right now. And then when you look at on 3, Florida's 46th, because on 3 is much higher on Joshua Moore than 24/7. It's like I said, 24/7 is the only place that has Joshua Moore as a 3-star player. He's not ranked nationally. 61st receiver, 56th player in the state on 24/7. No other place has him outside of 40. On 3 has him as a 57th overall player in the country. Put that into perspective, okay? 24/7 has Joshua Moore as the 61st wide receiver. On 3 has him as the 57th player in the country. Huge gap here. Massive gap there. Waltez Clark, blue chip by the composite. Florida with on 3 ranks much better than they do on 24/7 or really anywhere else, just because of how the rankings wind up. But still, 46th nationally, not a good spot to be, right? Florida really needs to pick things up here. And again, those could be answered within this week. If you include last Friday through next Saturday, Florida is expecting 3 commitments from last Friday, but Micah Jones, today Joshua Moore, this Saturday Tayshaun Gelsey. And then you can maybe find another commitment in there somewhere. I know, again, there's a few receivers and a few players in general that don't have commitment dates set. We know Lagonza Hayward's July 27th. But Nashawn Montgomery, to my knowledge, doesn't have a date set. Could make it happen. You have Vernell Brown III, doesn't have a date set. Could make it happen if you make him make a decision. What up, Q? How you doing? But Florida right now, it's about adding to the class at this point. You've got a pretty good foundation for the class. You need to get better with it. You need to get a deeper class. Obviously, you've got 7 commits right now, so quite a ways to go. But this is a big add. And like we talked about, was it on Monday? I think it might have been Monday, where we talked about building the momentum for these next few weeks. I think it was Tuesday's show, actually. It was yesterday's show. Building the momentum for these next few weeks. Florida can do that now, and this could be the start of it. Like I said, leading up to the Lagonza Hayward commitment on July 27th, Florida could go, and if you have, I think I said 10 to 12 commitments by then, you'll have a lot of momentum, because at the time I said that, you had 6. You can realistically have those 10 to 12. That's a very real possibility here. 10 to 12 commits by July 27th. Make him your 13th or whatever it is. Make him the 11th, 13th, whatever it may be. But Florida, these next 6 weeks, could pick up a ton of momentum on the recruiting trail. And Joshua Moore helps more than just the receiver. I know that we always talk about, you want to add a QB so that other players, receivers want to play for him and catch passes from him. Offensive linemen want to block for him, whatever it may be. Yeah, sure. Adding a guy like Joshua Moore, blue chip receiver by every composite, even though 24/7 doesn't have him as a blue chip personally, he's still blue chip on their composite. Blue chip receiver by every composite. from West Broward. Like, you're adding a guy, and again, 6'3", 6'4", depending on where you look. That's adding a blue chip receiver with elite size to your recruiting class. Especially, he was a battle between Florida, Florida State, and Miami. I'm just saying, other kids that are also making that decision are going to go, there's a reason he picked Florida, right? And don't forget, they're going to go the opposite side as well. They're going to go, hey, there's a reason they picked Florida State or Miami. But the most recent win of the in-state recruiting battles goes to Florida right now. It's a massive ad for Florida. Just huge addition to the class. I'm a big fan of his game. We'll talk more about him tomorrow. But really looking forward to Joshua Moore being in the class. I think he's got early playing potential. Genuinely, like, you look at the outside and what Florida has there, and there's nobody really proven. There's Elijah Badger. You came in from the transfer portal this past cycle. Fantastic player. One good year, go to the NFL. Okay. Then you look at who's behind him, Khalil Jackson. I think I've been more skeptical of Khalil than I think most people have been, and I will continue to be. Marcus Burke, I'm a big fan of his game. However, hasn't been able to find his way onto the field. Aiden Mizell. He's a redshirt freshman, hasn't been able to play much. We can't really make a definitive statement about his talent or anything like that. There's a path to early playing time for Joshua Moore here, especially when you look at, oh, yeah, you're going to have DJ Lagway, who's aggressive, wants to throw the ball deep downfield. Jeremy Carter, Billy Napier doesn't take slow kids. I'll tell you that. But he's aggressive. He wants to throw the ball downfield. DJ Lagway, looking at a big receiver like this, that's how you make life easier for those kinds of guys. That's how you make life easier for the guys that want to throw downfield, that want to be aggressive as passers. You add big-bodied kids who can win jump balls, who can win contested catches, even if it's not a jump ball, who can win at the point of attack. That's what Joshua Moore can do. And he can create separation, okay? We're talking about a kid that is a damn good football player that just committed to the Florida Gators, and I am pumped about it, all right? I'm pumped about it. We're going to talk more about it on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Gators. Thank you all for tuning in. Relatively impromptu stream going up. I would like to do more of these. I might do one tomorrow during the day. We might do a live stream tomorrow during the day, just talk some Gators football or even baseball, basketball, whatever it may be. But thanks for being Locked On Gators. Your first second listen of the day, every day. We are available daily and free to listen to the podcast, and sometimes 2 times a week or 2 times a day. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Giants, Country NFL 33. And again, as always, every time I do a live show, I'm like, man, I can't believe that there's people that just in the middle of the day, just come and join us and talk and have some fun. So thank you very much. Q, you said let's get in tomorrow too? All right, let's get in tomorrow. We'll get a live stream at some point tomorrow. Thank you so much for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We're available daily and free to listen to the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow twice, apparently. And I will see you all next time.